A maximum security prison. Muhammad Ali is speaking to 300 inmates when every light in the building goes out. The guards evacuate, the doors lock. Ali is alone in total darkness with men who have murdered, stolen, destroyed. Men who hate celebrities. Men who hate success. Men who hate him. Nobody knows what happened in those 2 hours. The guards won't talk. The warden sealed the records, but 40 years later, one inmate finally breaks his silence. And what he reveals is the most powerful thing Muhammad Ali ever did. And he did it without throwing a single punch. The Pennsylvania State Correctional Institution at Graterford sits 30 miles northwest of Philadelphia. Maximum security, built in 1929, grey stone walls 40 feet high, guard towers every 100 yards, razor wire coiled thick enough to cast shadows. Inside those walls live 3,200 men. Murderers, armed robbers, rapists, gangsters, men serving 20 years, 30, life, men who will never see freedom again. And on November 14, 1969, Muhammad Ali walks through those walls voluntarily. He's 27 years old, still in exile from boxing. His license revoked for refusing military service. His title stripped, his prime years stolen. But he's still Muhammad Ali, still the most famous athlete in America, maybe the world. The visit was arranged by the prison chaplain, Father Kenneth Murphy, Irish Catholic. White, 62 years old, believes in redemption. Believes these men, even the worst of them, deserve hope. Father Murphy has been trying to bring Ali to Graterford for 6 months. Finally, Ali agreed. One condition: no press, no cameras, no publicity. Just him and the inmates. The plan is simple. Ali will speak in the prison cafeteria. 30 minutes, motivational talk, questions after. Then he leaves. The warden, Robert Sullivan, doesn't like it. Doesn't like bringing an outsider into his prison. Especially not someone as controversial as Muhammad Ali. But Father Murphy pushed, and the warden eventually agreed. With conditions. Maximum security protocols, guards stationed throughout the cafeteria. No physical contact between Ali and inmates, speech limited to 30 minutes. First sign of trouble, lockdown procedures activate immediately. Ali arrives at 2 p.m. Dark suit, white shirt, thin black tie. He looks like he's going to church, not a maximum security prison. Warden Sullivan meets him at the main gate. They shake hands. Sullivan's grip is firm. Testing. "Mr. Ali, I want to be clear about something," Sullivan says. His voice is flat, administrative. "These men are dangerous. Many of them are violent. Some are unpredictable. You'll be safe as long as you follow our protocols. But if anything happens, you do exactly what my guards tell you. Understood?" Ali nods. "I understand." "Good." Sullivan gestures toward the entrance. "Let's get this over with." They walk through 3 security checkpoints. Each one requires Ali to empty his pockets, remove his watch, walk through a metal detector, answer questions about why he's here. The guards are professional, courteous. But Ali can feel their skepticism. They don't understand why a famous boxer would voluntarily walk into a place like this. Father Murphy meets them in the administrative corridor. He's shorter than Ali expected. Maybe 5'6", balding, wire-rimmed glasses. But his smile is genuine, warm. "Mr. Ali, it's an honor." Father Murphy extends his hand. "Thank you for coming." "Just Ali, and it's my honor, Father." They walk together toward the cafeteria. The hallways are concrete, gray, lit by fluorescent lights that buzz constantly. The air smells like industrial cleaner and something else, something harder to name. Desperation, maybe, or just the accumulated weight of thousands of men living in cages. "I should prepare you," Father Murphy says as they walk. "Many of these men are angry. At the world. At themselves. At God. Some will see you as a hero. Someone who stood up to the government, but others will see you as just another rich celebrity who doesn't understand their lives." "I understand." "I hope so." Father Murphy stops outside a heavy metal door. Beyond it, Ali can hear voices. Hundreds of them. A low rumble. "They need hope, Ali, more than anything. That's what I'm asking you to give them. The door opens. The cafeteria is massive, institutional, long metal tables bolted to the floor, benches attached to the tables, fluorescent lights overhead, windows high on the walls, covered with bars and mesh. And men, 300 of them, sitting, standing, waiting. They're wearing prison uniforms, grey, shapeless, most are young. 20s, 30s, but some are older, grey-haired, weathered, men who've been inside for decades. The noise level drops when Ali enters, not silent, but quieter. Heads turn, eyes lock onto him. Ali walks to the front of the cafeteria. There's a small raised platform, a podium, a microphone. Guards line the walls, 12 of them, hands near their batons, alert, ready. Father Murphy introduces Ali, short, simple. This is Muhammad Ali, former heavyweight champion. He's here to share his story. Please give him your respect. Some applause, scattered, uncertain. Ali steps to the microphone, looks out at 300 faces, some curious, some hostile, some completely blank. He doesn't start with a speech, doesn't launch into prepared remarks. Instead, he says something unexpected. I'm scared. The cafeteria goes completely silent. I'm standing here, Ali continues, in front of 300 men who could probably hurt me if they wanted to. And I'm scared. Not because I think you're bad people, but because I don't know you. And you don't know me. And fear comes from not knowing. He pauses, lets the words settle. I didn't come here to tell you I'm better than you. I'm not. I didn't come here to preach. I'm not a preacher. I came here because Father Murphy asked me to, and because I thought maybe we could understand each other. Because in some ways, I'm in a prison too. A few men lean forward, listening now. The government took my freedom, Ali says. Not like yours. I can still walk outside, still see the sun. But they took my right to do what I love, to box, to fight, to prove who I am. They said, you refuse to go to war, we'll take away your life. So they did. And for 3 years, I've been fighting to get it back. Ali's voice is steady, calm, not performing, just speaking. Some of you in here made mistakes, did things you regret. Some of you got caught for things other people do every day and don't get caught. Some of you are innocent, got railroaded by a system that doesn't care about the truth. I don't know your stories, but I know this. We're all human. We all want to matter. We all want to be more than what they say we are. He's 20 minutes into his speech when it happens. The lights go out. Not gradually, not flickering. Just gone. Complete darkness. The kind of darkness that makes you blink even though it doesn't help. For 3 seconds, there's absolute silence. Then voices, confused, alarmed. What happened? Power's out. Where are the guards? Ali stands frozen at the podium. He can't see anything. Not his hands, not the crowd, nothing. Then he hears it. A loud metallic clang, the sound of heavy doors slamming shut. Locking. Emergency protocols. Somewhere in the building an alarm is going off, distant, muffled by concrete walls. Ali's heart is pounding. He tries to stay calm, tries to think. A voice cuts through the darkness. One of the guards, shouting, "Everyone stay where you are. Do not move. This is a lockdown." More voices, inmates now, yelling, some panicked, some angry. "Let us out. Open the doors." What's going on? Ali hears movement, shuffling feet, benches scraping against concrete, bodies moving in the darkness. Another voice, closer, one of the inmates. "Where's Ali?" He's still up there. Someone grab him. Ali's blood runs cold. He hears footsteps. Coming toward the platform, fast. "Don't move, Ali." A new voice, calm, commanding, male, close. "You move, someone might hurt you by accident." Ali freezes. "Everyone sit down." The same voice, louder now, addressing the whole room. "Sit the fuck down before someone gets hurt." Surprisingly, the noise level drops. People are listening to this voice. Whoever it is has authority here. Not official authority, prison authority. Ali hears more footsteps. Then someone is next to him on the platform. He can feel body heat, smells cigarette smoke on clothes. "Ali," the voice says quietly, "my name's Marcus. I'm going to make sure you're okay. But you need to stay still. Let me handle this." "What's happening?" Ali whispers. "Power failure. Whole building, emergency lockdown, guards evacuated to secure areas. We're locked in here until they fix it. How long? Could be 10 minutes, could be hours. Marcus pauses. You picked a hell of a day to visit. In the darkness, Ali hears the cafeteria settling, people sitting back down, but the tension is palpable, electric. Marcus raises his voice again. Listen up, we got Muhammad Ali in here with us. Now I know some of y'all don't like him, think he's a coward for not going to Vietnam, think he's a sellout, think he's just another rich who doesn't give a shit about us. Fine, you're entitled to your opinion. Someone shouts from the darkness, "Fuck Ali!" Marcus doesn't miss a beat. Yeah, fuck Ali. That your contribution? That's all you got? Silence. Here's the situation, Marcus continues. We're locked in here, in the dark, with the most famous man in America. Now we can do this two ways. We can act like animals and prove every guard in this prison right about us, or we can act like men and show them they're wrong. Your choice. More silence, then a different voice. Older, tired. What do you want us to do, Marcus? I want you to sit, stay calm. And maybe, if Ali's willing, we can finish what we started. He was in the middle of telling us something. Might as well hear the rest. All eyes, invisible in the darkness, turn toward Ali. Marcus speaks quietly, just to Ali. You want to keep talking, or you want to sit here silent for the next however long? Ali's mind races. He's in a locked room with 300 dangerous men. No lights, no guards, no escape. This could go very wrong very fast. But something in Marcus's voice, something calm, respectful, human. I'll keep talking, Ali says. You sure? Yeah. Marcus addresses the room again. Ali's going to finish. Everyone shut up and listen. And they do. Ali speaks into the darkness. His voice carries differently now, more intimate, like he's talking to individuals instead of a crowd. I was saying we all want to matter, want to be more than what they tell us we are, and sitting here in the dark with you, I realize something. We're the same, you and me. They put you in a cage and said, this is all you are, a prisoner, a criminal, a number. They put me in a different kind of cage and said, this is all you are, a draft dodger, a troublemaker, someone who doesn't belong. His voice gets stronger, but they're wrong about you, about me, about all of us. Because we're more than what they say. We're fathers, sons, brothers. We're human beings who made choices, good and bad, and now we're living with them. But those choices don't define everything we are. Silence. People are listening, really listening. I don't know what you did to end up here, Ali continues, and I'm not going to judge you, because I've made mistakes too. Maybe different mistakes, but mistakes. And the only difference between me and you is luck, timing, circumstances. I could be sitting where you're sitting, and some of you could be standing where I'm standing. A voice from the darkness, younger, uncertain. You really believe that? Yeah, I do. Why? The voice is closer now. The person has stood up. Why do you believe that? Ali thinks. Because I met a kid once, in Louisville, 12 years old. Got caught stealing. Judge gave him a choice, jail or boxing. He chose boxing. That kid was me. If that judge had sent me to jail, my whole life would be different. I might be in here with you, not visiting, living. Another voice, harder, skeptical. So what? You got lucky. Good for you. That doesn't change shit for us. You're right, Ali says. It doesn't change anything for you, but maybe it changes how you think about yourselves, because luck isn't the end of the story. What you do with luck is what matters. I got lucky with that judge, but I still had to work, had to train, had to fight, had to choose every day to be better than I was. Easy to say when you're rich and famous. You think this is easy? Ali's voice rises slightly. You think it's easy being the most hated man in America, having death threats every day? Having the government take everything from you because you stood up for what you believe? That's not easy. That's the hardest thing I've ever done. The room is completely silent now. Ali continues softer. I'm not saying my life is harder than yours. I'm saying we all have battles. Mine are public. Yours are private. But they're both real. And we both have to keep fighting. A new voice, older, thoughtful. What are you fighting for, Ali? Same thing you are. Dignity, respect, the right to be seen as a human being. And you think you're going to get that? I don't know, but I'm going to die trying. Time passes. Ali can't see his watch, doesn't know if it's been 10 minutes or an hour, but he keeps talking, and they keep listening. He tells them about growing up in Louisville, about his bike getting stolen, about meeting Joe Martin, about the Olympics, about Sonny Liston, about refusing the draft, about losing everything. And they talk back. From the darkness, voices emerge, men telling their stories. A man who killed his father's murderer. A man who got life for armed robbery because he had 2 prior strikes. A man who's been inside for 16 years and still maintains his innocence. Ali doesn't preach, doesn't lecture, just listens, responds, treats them like equals. At some point, Marcus says quietly, "You're good at this." At what? Talking to people, seeing them. Most people who come in here look through us, like we're not real. But you see us. Because you are real, Ali says simply. More time passes. The conversation shifts. Gets deeper. Someone asks Ali about Islam, about why he converted. Ali explains, respectfully, honestly. Others disagree, argue, but it stays civil. Thoughtful. Someone asks about Vietnam, about why he refused. Ali's answer is simple. Because I didn't believe in that war, didn't believe in killing people I had no quarrel with, and I believed in standing up for what's right even when it costs you everything. You think you're better than the guys who did go. No, I think they made their choice and I made mine. Both choices have consequences. Another voice. Would you do it again, knowing what it cost you? Ali doesn't hesitate. Yes. Why? Because some things matter more than boxing, more than money, more than fame. Living with integrity matters, being able to look at yourself in the mirror matters. And I can do that. Can you? The question hangs in the darkness. Then, without warning, the lights come back on. Sudden, blinding, everyone squints, blinks, covers their eyes. Ali sees the cafeteria for the first time he checks his watch. 2 hours and 17 minutes. The men are exactly where they were before the lights went out. Sitting at tables, a few standing, but no chaos, no violence, no destruction. Just 300 men looking at Muhammad Ali, and Ali looking back at them. The doors unlock with a heavy clunk. Guards pour in immediately, batons out, ready for trouble. But there's no trouble. Warden Sullivan enters, flanked by 6 guards. His face is tight with concern. He scans the room quickly, looking for damage, for injuries, for problems. He finds none. Is everyone all right? Sullivan asks. His voice is loud, commanding. Silence. Then Marcus stands. We're fine, Warden. Everyone's fine. Sullivan's eyes narrow. He looks at Ali. Mr. Ali, are you unharmed? I'm fine. Did anyone threaten you? Touch you? No, sir. These men treated me with respect. Sullivan looks around the cafeteria again, confused, suspicious. In his experience, 300 maximum security inmates locked in darkness for over 2 hours results in violence. Always. But not today. Everyone return to your cells, Sullivan says finally. Lockdown continues until we determine the cause of the power failure. The inmates stand, begin filing out. Orderly, calm. As they pass Ali, many of them nod. Some shake his hand despite the no-contact rule. The guards don't stop them. One man stops, mid-40s, bald, scar across his cheek. Life sentence for murder. Thank you, he says to Ali, for seeing us. Ali nods. Thank you for letting me. When the cafeteria is empty except for Ali, Father Murphy and Warden Sullivan, the warden approaches Ali. I don't know what happened in here, Sullivan says, and frankly, I'm not sure I want to know. But whatever you did, whatever you said, it worked. In 40 years of corrections, I've never seen anything like that. I just talked to them, Ali says, like people. Sullivan shakes his head slowly. Most people don't do that. They see inmates, criminals, animals. But you saw men. Because that's what they are. Father Murphy is beaming. I told you, Warden. I told you Ali was special. The story of what happened in Graterford Prison that day doesn't become public. Not immediately. Warden Sullivan files a report, but he leaves out most of the details, just says the power failed, emergency protocols activated, and there were no incidents. The inmates don't talk, not to the press, not to anyone outside. It's like those 2 hours existed in a bubble, separate from the rest of the world. But inside Graterford, things change. Guards notice it first. The inmates are different, calmer, more respectful. Discipline problems drop. Violence decreases, not dramatically, not overnight, but enough to notice. Father Murphy knows why. They were seen, he explains to a colleague. Maybe for the first time in their lives, someone famous, someone important, saw them as human beings. And that changed something, gave them dignity, hope. Years pass. Ali gets his license back, reclaims his title, becomes the greatest boxer in history, retires, develops Parkinson's, becomes a global icon, and the story of Graterford stays buried. Until 2009. Marcus Johnson is released after 42 years inside. He's 70 years old, grey-haired, bent by time, but his mind is sharp. A local journalist interviews him, standard human interest piece about a man re-entering society after 4 decades in prison. Near the end of the interview, the journalist asks if Marcus has any memorable experiences from his time inside. Marcus is quiet for a long moment. Then he says, "Muhammad Ali saved my life." The journalist perks up. "Ali visited your prison." "Once, 1969. Power went out. We were locked in darkness with him for over 2 hours." "What happened?" Marcus smiles. "He talked to us like we mattered, like we were human. And for the first time in my life, I believed I could be more than what they said I was." The journalist presses for details. Marcus tells the story, all of it. The article is published, goes viral, gets picked up nationally. Other inmates from that day come forward, confirm the story, add their own perspectives. One man says Ali could have panicked, could have demanded the guards get him out, but he stayed, talked to us, made us feel seen. Another says, "I was ready to riot that day. The darkness, the lockdown, I was done. But Ali calmed us. Not by preaching, just by being real." A third says, "He told us we weren't defined by our worst moments, that we could still choose who to become." That changed everything for me. The Graterford story becomes part of Ali's legend. Not his boxing record, not his championships, but this, the day he was locked in darkness with 300 dangerous men and chose to see them as human. In 2016, when Muhammad Ali dies, Marcus Johnson attends the funeral. He's one of thousands. But he's one of the few who knows what Ali did when the cameras weren't rolling, when there was no glory, no fame, just a man choosing to treat other men with dignity. A reporter asks Marcus what Ali meant to him. Marcus thinks carefully, then says, "In that darkness, Ali couldn't see our faces, couldn't see our crimes, couldn't see our past. He could only hear our voices, our humanity, and he responded to that, not to what we'd done, to who we could be. That's what greatness looks like, not punching someone, seeing someone." The power failure at Graterford Prison on November 14, 1969, was caused by a transformer malfunction. Fixed in 2 hours and 23 minutes. Routine maintenance issue. But what happened in that cafeteria wasn't routine. It was a moment when 300 men who'd been treated as less than human for years were treated as equals by the most famous man in the world. And some of them never forgot. One inmate, released in 1985, became a youth counselor. He told kids about that night, about how Ali chose connection over fear. Another, released in 1992, started a prison ministry. His motto, "See the person, not the crime." A third never got out, died in Graterford in 2003, but in his final letter to his son, he wrote, "I met Muhammad Ali once, in the dark, and he saw me anyway. Remember that. See people, even when it's dark." Muhammad Ali fought many battles in his life, in the ring and out. But perhaps the most important battle was the one nobody saw. The battle to see others, to recognize humanity in places most people looked away from, to give dignity to men the world had written off. That day in Graterford, locked in darkness with 300 maximum security inmates, Ali proved something more important than his boxing skill. He proved that courage isn't about fighting, it's about connecting, seeing, acknowledging. And sometimes the most powerful punch you can throw is choosing not to throw one at all.